Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today, Miss Evelyn?
Not bad.
No, it's not 100 degrees outside.
I'm glad about that. I was like, oh, it's starting
Me
to feel a
too.
little bit cooler, which I like. I'm ready for the fall, winter. I'm
Me
good.
too. Me too.
And the smoke to go away.
Yeah, that would be nice too. I can't, we had a really nice summer without too much of it. And then like September, bam.
Yep. I feel bad for my husband. My husband's every birthday on September 12th, his birthday, that tomorrow. It's usually like post-apocalyptic with the smoke. And I'm like, please let this year be good.
Yeah.
Last year was okay. There was no real smoke in the air, but I'm like, I don't know about this year.
I don't know what the date, what is today's date? Like the
So
9th or
it's the
11th?
11th.
Yeah, September, it's 9/11. Yeah, well, it's not as bad as it was last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the lights on where the towers used to be in New York. It's a pretty awe-inspiring um, photograph.
Yeah, I saw someone posted on my Facebook. I was like, that's awesome. To still be able to remember that, and although unfortunately the lives that were lost are still remembered.
Oh yeah. I was on a business trip to Vermont right after like it was October or November of 2001, and we were there the day they turned the lights off. So we like drove down. We were on the highway when it happened. We didn't, but we got to see the light towers, and then we watched them as they turned them off. Good morning, Rebecca.
I think Rebecca's having sound issues again.
Is she doing the chat?
Yes, she did.
Okay, gotcha. I'm just gonna move that over there so we have it. There's the other Rebecca back from her she's a newlywed.
Congratulations.
If you're talking, we cannot hear you, Rebecca.
I guess Rebecca's are having sound
Right.
issues.
Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning.
And there's Scott. Good morning, Scott. Sherry all alone in that big conference room. So it is, what time is it? Oh, we've got a few minutes yet.
Yeah, I would wait for a bit. I think I had a lot more people RSVP to this meeting than previous, but we'll see. Summer meetings are weird.
Here we go. All right. Down in.
Yeah, summer and early schools back in session meetings are weird.
Rebecca, can I ask you a quick question? Good morning. Good to see you. Are you going to drive my slide deck or should I drive the slide deck? I just didn't get a chance to ask.
I will make you co-host and then you will be able to do whatever you need to do with your screen. In fact, I'm
Thank you
going to
very
do that
much.
right now.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, you should be able to do whatever you need now.
Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I know, it's okay, Rebecca. Good morning, Louisa. Welcome in.
Good morning, Louisa.
There she is. There's Jackie. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning.
There's Christy. Good morning, Christy.
Morning. There we go. Now I've got my sound on.
All right, well, it's 9, Rebecca. Do you think we should give it a minute or two, or should we just get going?
So far, everything I have jumping in is an AI bot, so you are welcome to start if you would like.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the icebreaker. Good morning, everyone. And we'll stall a little bit. Good morning, Susan. Welcome in. And so what I'd like you to do, I'm Donna Brundage. I work at St. Vincent de Paul. And I am today's host. So if you would be so kind, I'm going to ask you an icebreaker question. And as we pass it around the boxes, just say who you are and what agency you're with. People are starting to come now. Good morning, everyone. So fall is in the air. And we're all so looking forward to that. Evelyn and I talked about that privately before the meeting. So my question today is, if you could keep only one fall tradition, would it be pumpkin spice lattes, cozy sweaters, or football? So choose one and say why. And let's start with Sherry, since you're at the top of my list.
I would choose the comfy sweater. I'm not a football fan, so that doesn't interest me. And the pumpkin spice, well, I enjoy it. It's not my fave. So let's bring on the comfy sweaters.
All right. And Sherry, you're with the city.
Oh, sorry, Sherry Manager, City of Coeur d'Alene.
That's okay. Okay, Evelyn, tag.
I'm Evelyn. I work for Idaho Housing and Finance Association. I'm their family self-sufficiency specialist / housing counselor. And my answer would be cozy sweaters, because nothing beats like a cozy sweater and a book in a comfy chair on a fall day.
Okay. Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Scott Ferguson, CEO at St. Vincent de Paul, North Idaho. And I would probably be a little bit different in terms of when football starts, everything just comes together. So football is my absolute favorite. So I'm excited for all of it, college, professional, even flag football for my sixth grade old son. So it's great.
All is right in the world. Okay, Louisa.
I'm Louisa with North Idaho College Center for New Directions, and I think probably the cozy sweaters is what I like. I want to like football, I just haven't gotten there yet. So,
Okay, Christy.
Good morning, Christy Reeds, newly with St. Vincent de Paul, and sweater weather for sure.
Okay, Jackie.
Hi guys, I'm Jackie Stallings. I am a vocational rehabilitation counselor at the Idaho Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired. It's funny because our office is so cold in the summer that I wear sweaters, I feel like year round, but I would have to say sweater weather. I think the pumpkin spice thing is a little overdone, and I'm not a football fan, and I'm also not a Debbie Downer, even though I came across that way today. So thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Welcome, Jackie. Susan.
I'm Susan Bergeson. I'm with North Idaho College Head Start, and I'm going to have to say football. It's a pretty big thing in my household. So,
Okay, Michaela.
I'm Michaela. I'm with Early Head Start and sweater for sure.
Okay, Christy.
I'm Chrissy Carlson from Navigation, and I'm not into football, but I would still choose football just because my husband loves it. And he is so amped up and animated and hilarious to watch him watch football that it brings me joy. So.
Okay, who we got? Rebecca she's got the Department of Health and Welfare's microphone computer system is not working again for her. You need to talk to somebody about that, Rebecca. You want me to talk to Ryan? I can do that. So Rebecca says she's from the navigation program for the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. And she says pumpkin spice latte because it's seasonal and exclusive. So Rachel, the question, I don't know if you were in when you got, if you got in, but
I did hear. Sweaters all the way. Football's great because of the snacks, but I'll take the sweater every day.
Okay. All right, Rebecca. It's not Pratt anymore. What is it?
Morales.
Okay, you're gonna have to
Rebecca
put that in
Morales.
the chat.
Probably sweater. I love a big, cozy, comfy sweater, especially when it's too big for me.
Okay, well, I wait the entire year for football season to start again. So, and the same, Scott, college, high school, we've gone to the Viking games, and go Hawks. So we're going to get started. I think I got everyone. The boxes jump around a little bit when new people enter, but we're going to get started today. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can read. It is my honor to introduce Scott Ferguson. So Dr. Scott Ferguson serves as the CEO of St. Vincent's, where he leads efforts to provide shelter, food, and essential support to individuals and families facing poverty, homelessness, and hardship. With more than 19 years of leadership experience in higher education in the nonprofit sector, he's recognized for his collaborative leadership style, strategic vision, and decision to fostering community engagement and meaningful change. His passion for serving under-resourced communities began as a 2-year AmeriCorps Vista member in Portland, Oregon, an experience that shaped his career as a higher education administrator, nonprofit executive director, and philanthropic leader. Scott holds a bachelor's degree in religion and Christian ministries from Warner Pacific University, a master's in higher education administration from Portland State University, and a doctorate of education from Concordia University. In addition to serving as an adjunct professor at Whitworth, he contributes to his community as board member for Kootenai County Home Share, the Region 1 Behavioral Health Board, and the Region 1 Idaho Housing Committee. Actively engaged in faith communities, civic groups, and advocacy organizations, Scott is committed to building a stronger, healthier communities through innovative solutions, compassionate outreach, and service rooted in dignity and respect. So that's what you got coming at you, folks. So Scott, it's our pleasure. Go ahead and talk to us about St. Vincent's.
Awesome. I don't know if that was the first time that you heard someone's bio being read like that. That's fascinating to hear it read out loud. You write it and think, oh, that's going to sound good. All right. Well, with that being said, it's so good to be with each one of you. And before I share my screen and probably lose the ability to see everyone, I just wanted to start with thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit more about an organization that some of you probably know well. But honestly, really focused today in my time to present is really not just about the impact of what we do, but the power of collaboration to accomplish and make good on our mission as an organization. So when we talk about this population specifically, and I know that each one of you bring your subject matter expertise to the work around each client that we probably address, and maybe some of us have collaborative relationships with. But when I was thinking about this presentation, I'm most certainly going to talk about our almost 80-year legacy of making good on the promise to make sure with dignity and respect, the way that we serve the underprivileged and those impacted by poverty in our area. But more importantly, what I want to talk about, I think this morning, or give context to, in addition to the history of our organization, is that we literally could not do what we do for 80 plus years without individuals like you. And I want to start that way because that might be unique to other presentations, but I think it's really important to remember that the power of our ability to address effectively opportunities and support services for families and individuals who are in this ALICE population really comes from two basic areas. One, our compassion for their well-being, and two, the collaborative spirit it takes to be innovative together. I love that because as I start my presentation, I want us to have that as the pretext to what we present and what we share about St. Vincent de Paul's work, because a lot of it you'll hear are direct services and opportunities to learn about what we do, but more importantly, that everything I'm going to share has an underpinning of the idea of collaboration. That as an organization, we are only as successful as the individuals we partner with. So I say that because now that I'll inundate you with great information, I want to offer a couple things. One, during the presentation, please ask questions. I am open to clarifying anything that I present, but more importantly, I also welcome great feedback. So if I say something that inspires you, don't hold back. Have an opportunity to share. That'd be great during the presentation. It doesn't offend me at all, but I want to make sure that this is a value add to you before you walk away for the rest of your day. So here we go. I'll share my screen and away we go. All right. Can everyone see that okay? The PowerPoint?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Just want to make sure. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go full screen on this guy and we'll get it going here. Oh, actually, let me just go with the apologize. I'm going to do this because of the way my screen share, but this is a great way to kind of walk you through it. So initially, St. Vincent de Paul, and now I am currently in the CEO role here at St. Vincent de Paul. I have been here a massive 9.5 months. So when people ask about the legacy of my opportunity to lead this organization, it's been fantastic. I will say this, and I want to share a little bit about the starting point. When I say in this picture alone, it really does encompass 80 plus, almost 80 years of being rooted in North Idaho, specifically in Kootenai County. Now, I start with this because as an organization that really was rooted and started with an ethic of compassion, an ethic of care, and an opportunity to use faith in action. So this organization was rooted almost 80 years ago and began at St. Thomas Catholic Apostolic Church, which now is well over 100 years old right here in Coeur d'Alene. What I love about the history of our organization to start with is that the visionaries who started this particular component of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul had the vision to better understand what the needs of our community were at the time and realized that if they didn't take action, positive impact wouldn't be a result. What I love about this is that as a part of this, our organization that is rooted in North Idaho, there are over 4,400 chapters nationwide of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Bringing that back into scope really is really important because as we think about as a national society, this organization's entire mission is to ensure that we provide a hand up and not a handout in terms of offering our community the most effective support services to ensure that if and when they experience poverty, housing insecurity, food insecurity, or additional issues that may arise, we're here to help. Our organization is committed to making sure that every day as individuals come into our help center or come to access our services, that we have the opportunity to see them as they come in, see the potential of who they are and not what they're impacted by. So for 80 plus years, we've had the opportunity to, just last year, in fact, see over 5,500 people come through the help center here in Coeur d'Alene to access resources that I'll describe in just a little bit. But this is an interesting component that I would prefer that the community really knew about our history, is that we've been rooted here for not just 80 years, but with the direct mission to ensure that anyone who is impacted by poverty has the resources, the hope, and the opportunity to change their situation for the better. So I described our beginning a little bit. This is kind of a kaleidoscope of where we started, and as an organization in 1946, really became rooted here in Coeur d'Alene. Then over time, obviously over 80 years, with fantastic board leadership and commitment from our local Catholic parishes and community leaders, had an opportunity to see how we could expand those services from Coeur d'Alene to Kootenai County and now to Region 1 or all 5 northern counties of Idaho. We love this opportunity to talk a little bit about breadth and depth because for a lot of the community that knows us or has been connected to us in some fashion, there's a lot of misnomers we have to actually talk about or assumptions about our organization that people don't really know. We learned a couple of those really quickly is that 83 cents of every dollar goes back to direct programs. These programs that specifically support our ALICE populations and families. Another component that we really like to talk about is we are associated with and have the privilege of thinking through how we address the affordable housing crisis in our area. But more importantly, how we define it, how we create clarity and scope for the individuals who are only seeking housing opportunities, but again, holistic, so wraparound support services in addition to housing. So when their basic needs are met, they have the opportunity to see their potential. So with that being said, some really, I think, key components of our beginning is that we are constantly committed to understanding the lived experience of these individuals that help us inform our practice. So we have individuals that have worked and now lead our divisional units, for example, in housing, social services, that have worked for 15 plus years. With that expertise comes a wealth of opportunity to better understand the lived experience of those individuals experiencing poverty in our area. A lot of times, I'll say a critique I find in our community and something that we address to be agile as an organization is how are we doing what's best for the community and for our clients. But if we don't know their lived experience and we can't speak to the actual components that are the barriers in which they experience well, we can't create interventions that move the needle. We can't be committed to their self-sufficiency if we don't have a good understanding of that. And we are so lucky that we have staff and community partners that inform our practice to help us better understand what those interventions are and how we can continue to get better at providing interventions that can be agile enough to meet the need of our community. So now I'll hit you with the cute pictures. Here are the cute pictures, everyone. For our organization, we love to show the impact and what does that mean of having such a community legacy in our area. Well, what it means is that for our Alice population families and individuals, what they can notice is that over even the last year, we had 75,000 customers come through both of our thrift store operations. When we talk about our thrift store operations, here's one way we really think about that direct impact. We think about families that come in maybe having a need for specific vouchers so that their children can buy 3 sets of school clothes and be ready to go for the year. We alleviate the burden of consistent expenses and inflation by thinking differently about what resources our retail operations can really provide. So to think about what 75,000 people and that impact and that level of communication for us to connect with each one of those individuals and potentially offer resources like vouchers so their families aren't burdened is an amazing opportunity. And last year alone, we offered $24,000 worth of emergency family vouchers directly back into our community. So that's what I love about our work is that it's not only collaborative, but our direct services have the opportunity to, again, engage with our clients and our community in a way that meets their needs and helps them feel validated with support. Next, that we'll talk about if we move down the list here is looking at our Healing Hearts, Angel Arms, First Step transitional housing efforts. Total 37,452 bed nights with 100% utilization. So if I was you, I'd be like, well, Scott, interpret that for me. So let me help you understand what that means. Initially, what it means is that we have a 2-year wait list for our housing opportunities. We know that affordable housing is the top of mind for our community here in Kootenai County and all 5 northern counties of Idaho. We're having constant conversations about innovative solutions that are moving the needle when we talk about making sure that we have the capacity to house every individual in our community. So a couple of key, I think, informational points that I always like to share with groups that I present to is that right now we have around 426 clients that are taking advantage of our affordable housing opportunities. We have 13 properties that we manage or own that provide the housing for those clients. And to think about, and I always give context to this, we still, with all of that capacity, have a 2-year wait list. So we realize this is an awesome opportunity for growth, but we can and continue to work with local property management relationships and other opportunities to find as many housing units we can to supplement the need that we constantly are able to see as an opportunity of growth. Moving into our eye care parenting support. So our eye care program really is designed for those who don't know, and I'm sure you've met Katie and Taryn and those folks, but our eye care program really is designed to ensure that we're empowering local families and children with the tools and resources to be as healthy as possible. The program is designed to prevent child abuse all throughout North Idaho. But more importantly, we look at what does it take to ensure strengthening and creating healthy families holistically. When we see that we have served in the last year over 437 families, well, the way I interpret that is that we have reduced by 437 opportunities for families who don't have the appropriate competencies and skills to now have the skills to know how to de-escalate their emotions to prevent child abuse. For us, that's a tremendous win we love being able to think about what kind of positive impact that can communicate, not only to the families we serve, but to the idea that we know for a fact that this scope of work goes into the Greater Strengthening Families Coalition and creates an awesome opportunity countywide as a strategy to prevent child abuse. In terms of food excuse me, feeding our community, we have Father Bill's Dining Hall and our child and adult food programs that provide several meals to our community to ensure that no one goes hungry. This is if you have not been to Father Bill's, we would love to invite you, but this is an essential program that saw not only 7,600 meals go out the door to our local community, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But more importantly, I'll say this, if you have not been to Father Bill's, I'm a big proponent of the idea that our organization exists not for transactional opportunities, but transformational. And what I love about this opportunity is that when we invite individuals to come and be a part of our work, we ask people to sit down, have conversations. Don't just serve the meal. Don't just do the dishes, but have opportunities to sit, engage, and be a part of those conversations with individuals who are not just seeking a warm meal, but more importantly, we can move the needle to support these individuals by having them being seen, recognized, and heard. So for us, that is essential components of why our food programs do what they do, because for our Father Bills, it's a direct service to the community members in which we serve here. But for our food program, the opportunity to think that we also know that daycare and daycare providers are an essential component in crisis as well. So to think that our program that is run through the state has the opportunity to reimburse almost now 60 different daycare providers statewide and over 500,000 meals, reimbursing those daycare providers with those meals, and thinking that at minimum, it contributes a 15% support to their work, back to their admin budgets, back to their overall overhead. This is an essential support service that we can't ignore, will be needed moving forward. And we know from our personal testimonies that our daycare providers, some would not be able to keep their doors open without that 15% benefit. So thinking about that and another structural component of what we do and how we do what we do is really essential. If you have not now moving to a little bit more of a direct community service with our warming shelter, if you haven't heard of our warming shelter, I really would love to just make sure that when you walk in, a couple things that I would love for you to know. Number one, as we look at the component, it is the only warming shelter in Kootenai County. We receive so many individuals when the nights get cold, and we have a lot of individuals that when it's 23 degrees out, we have great relationships with our local fire department, EMS, and public and police department from both Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, that when they see individuals that are just out in the cold, this is where they bring them. We are so honored to be a part of running this particular program because it literally saves lives. But why I bring it up is because as we think as a community, what does our community need and how do we make sure our community is healthy? This is a key component. We have not just individual men and women, but families accessing this warming shelter. And we have, as an organization, be prepared to not only support them with the resources we have, but also think about, last year we were open almost 100 and I think 25 nights, and thinking about the capacity that served our direct community for those not being out in the cold, those not being afraid of freezing to death, but having opportunities to come in and be cared for and have a warm meal and be safe. And when I look at the statistic there about having the winter warming shelter provide over 987 total bed nights, that's probably a fraction of what we could offer. But due to limitations, this is what we're able to do, and it makes a dramatic impact on those that we serve. And then lastly, if you have not been to our help center, this is one of those opportunities where we love to encourage everyone to come and see what happens when we have several different direct support services. And for our organization, that's over 23 direct social services that individuals can receive when they come through the help center. When they walk through the door, and we always talk about, for our help center, the hardest step that anyone has to take is the front door. And that is because when you have to ask for help when you're broken, or in a situation where you can't see hope, it's a difficult step to take. But our hope is that people walk through our front door, they have the opportunity not only to be served in meeting their needs, but having the opportunity to become whole, to become restored, to take that first step into self-sufficiency. So this is our impact. This is a very, I think, a good overview of our work. how we operate some key and critical programs that directly support our ALS population. Moving to the next slide. So specifically some ideas of recommendations that I would say in how we serve the ALS population. Again, we've talked about this a little bit, but food security, so access to nutritious meals and pantry items ensures your family is fed. One component of this too, as we think about our location and where we are privileged to work with so many individuals that utilize the Help Center as an opportunity and referral to make sure that when individuals need food or they need housing or these direct support services, what they're getting is the service itself, but also more importantly, they're creating the relationship with us. Our ability to create relationships with our clients is an essential component of our success. So I'll give you one quick example. As we have individuals that we call frequent flyers or individuals that are accessing our services at a consistent frequency, what we love about that opportunity is to be able to see the difference it makes in their lives as we create relationships with them. Know their name, know their story, know their family, having opportunities not only to be aware of the challenges they have, but the opportunity to really think differently about their story, to be seen subjectively, to know that their story matters and that what they hope to accomplish is unique to them. So as we look at these opportunities and we look at how we provide these direct services, food security, making sure they have the right basic needs for food. And the way that we do that as an organization is that we do have an on-site food pantry here at the Help Center. So individuals who are seeking those resources can come directly to us and walk away with direct resources for canned goods, non-perishable goods as well. But also, again, we can utilize local resources and partnerships with the food bank and different individuals that we can refer them to. So I know this is a St. Vincent de Paul presentation, but it's hard for me to present a presentation to this group without mentioning how many, again, collaborative partnerships that we can utilize to ensure that everyone is taken care of. That being said, moving on to housing and utilities. Folks, I don't know if you know this, but it is tough out there for rent and opportunities to make sure that you can find not only housing, but then when you get the housing, how you finance being able to stay in those locations. So when it comes to housing and utilities, we are working really closely with our direct community partners and Catholic parishes to raise specific funds for emergency rent and utility assistance that really is essential to not only ensure that people get into housing opportunities, but stay there, have the opportunity to not continue to worry about, well, I have just enough between rent and then my family and paying for school clothes or whatever it may be. So that's a key component of working with ALS populations in our work, is making sure that we can provide them with a variety of resources to not be burdened by individual opportunities that may be something we can solve for them and partner with the community to find resources as well. So we do talk about how we utilize our thrift store retail operations. We love that we have the ability to leverage this really community-centric resource. And I say that because we are blessed to have community members, and maybe you're one of them that have dropped off clothes at our thrift store locations because you had extra sweaters to give, and that is wonderful. And our immediate answer is that we're so grateful for those donations because they're an immediate community resource as soon as they come into our store. As soon as we are able to process them, they go back on our shelves, hopefully at a very affordable price, but they also go back on our shelves to ensure that if families who are in need of a voucher opportunity, that they have the same access as any other customer. And that's a really key component of leveraging our retail operations. Yes, to generate revenue for our work as an organization, but more importantly, to see this as a benefit that is given by the community, for the community, to the community, which is really important. And then lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that we really focus on trying to provide each one of our clients and tenants and those who come to seek services with financial literacy program. I will say this, I was just meeting with a member of a local credit union, employee of a credit union yesterday, and they were talking, he was sharing with me about one of the really core values that they really appreciate being able to do is provide these kind of courses for individuals who have usually the responses when they start these courses of, I've never created a budget. I don't even understand how to use money. I just know when I'm out of it, right? Like, how do I start to think differently for hope and perspective around setting up a financial structure that allows me to see the benefit of moving forward versus thinking with a scarcity mindset and interpreting that I don't have options, that I don't know what to do, but I'll just continue to scrape by, ask for help, and not see how I can build systems that help me really better understand how to use and utilize a framework to be more financially viable moving forward. So these are some specific services that we have that we offered that I think have been incredibly helpful in getting individuals back on their feet, getting them back on the road to self-sufficiency. But I do love the idea that our biggest strength, if I move to the next slide, folks, and honestly, our biggest strength is twofold. One, I always tell our organization and the community, our two biggest strengths, one is our employees. Our first biggest strength are the people who work for us. We can not only not do the work that we do without the talent and the opportunity to highlight those who work with our organization, but I will say this, it is really important to remember that the people who do this work have a heart for this work. And I will say that that is something that's really important as we look at where we talk about in terms of we can create growth and strategies for growth as an organization because we have people who are not only committed to making sure every client has what they need to be successful, but have a passion to think differently and innovatively about how we offer those services. So what I love about this, and then the second greatest strength is you all, the community. And why I say that is because we love having opportunities where when we invite the community to partner with our organization, the most value add experience that people can have is engaging with clients and tenants and those we serve. As much as we love people coming in and maybe sorting a bag of gently used clothes, what's more important is that they have the opportunity to walk the thrift store and thank customers for being there, serving meals and having direct conversations with our clients or those who are accessing Father Bills, maybe for the first time. And when I say that is because that is the strength of our organization. It is community focused. It is community centric. And the strength of our community really comes back in these kind of examples that I'll present here. So first being the thrift store volunteer operation. Again, we have a great variety of volunteers that come and do a variety of ways that they support our retail operation. But really what we love about it is that throughout the day, the strength of our volunteers is having the opportunity to go through, like I said, say hello to our customers. Why are they there? Ask them about their experience, learn more about them. That's a really key component of building that initial trust with our community. Because I will say this, our biggest barrier to ensuring the success of helping those in this population reach self-sufficiency is that they don't trust us, that they don't know us, that they walk in apprehensive because they've been burned in other situations. And are they really willing to trust one more organization to help them out of their lived experience? So that's what I love about this is that we leverage the strength of our community and the heart of our community to really think differently about making key connections in our thrift store operations, coming to volunteer at Father Bill's Kitchen, having those direct conversations over maybe breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Initially, we also have opportunities where folks who want to volunteer, with our housing and shelter operations, it's so wonderful. And I'll say this, I love when the community wants to come learn more about our affordable housing operations because we want to take them on tours. If you have not been able to come with us to see one of our facilities, to do a tour, to come and learn more about what our facilities look like, how they operate, how we provide services, we would love to have you. It is a great opportunity to really not only see the outside of the buildings, but walk through them, see who lives there, what kind of community is developed in our housing facilities, because they really do build community. This is not an apartment complex where people don't know each other. A lot of individuals who live or are taking advantage of our housing opportunities they know each other. They're in relationship. They are very willing to talk about the positive impact of housing, but living in community and how much that really allows them to find additional support on their own specific journey as well. So we would love to invite you to come and see a tour, invite you to come see our housing facilities and learn more about how our affordable housing is really making a difference in the lives of our tenants who live there. And then lastly, we really talk about the value of our community engagement and opportunity, where when we're out community, we would love for individuals to not only that we serve, to not only receive our services, but to give back, to be a part of that process, to really better understand that we see them as a vital part of our community, not just our services. So having opportunities to invite our clients and tenants to come out and volunteer, but also inviting the community to partner with them, having individuals in the community who have a heart to see those individuals back on the road to self-sufficiency come out, make those direct connections, have and be in relationship. And we love when that happens because we know it works. It moves the needle for our clients and tenants because they are seen, they're supported, and they really need that. And we all need that, right? When we think about holistic health in terms of being healthy emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. The last slide, and I think you guys are doing so great, was this slide. So I'm going to close this if that's okay with everyone, because I did give you a pretty robust overview of this. But what I want to do is end the sharing here real quick. I can do that because I'm tech savvy. Oh yeah, there we go. Got it. And then I wanted to, now giving you all of that information, actually offer this as an opportunity to have a dialogue around St. Vincent de Paul. Again, our biggest strength is really our collaboration. It's the ability to work with organizations like yours to better understand not just our clients' lived experience, but the opportunity that, and I was just at a meeting this morning at one of our local chamber offices, and they said, what is the biggest need for your nonprofit sector? Like, if you were to describe what is your biggest need? And the number one, I think, continued opportunity we hear as an organization is collaboration. Because even the business community has a hard time understanding how all the nonprofits work together and what that collective impact really, truly is. So when I was thinking about that question or that answer, that response that was given to me, I'll say one of the most effective ways that we have the opportunity to serve our Alice communities is how we tell our story. And what I mean by that is you can tell me data and help me understand how many people come through our doors. But here's where I want to get to it. How many times, and I have shared this with my organization and my directors and my team a lot, but here's what I would say. How many times are we offering the opportunity to celebrate positive impact in the community as we tell our story? We're very good about talking about the need. I think we're very good about identifying what the needs of our community can be and are. But I want to go back to telling a quick story to end my presentation with this. We had a young lady who's now part of our affordable housing community named Savannah. Savannah is an incredible individual. She's early 20s. Her and her fiance and her daughter, who's about, I think, 2.5, cutest little blonde girl you've ever seen. Just top notch. She's amazing. Now, why I say this story is that as I got to meet Savannah, the story was shared to me like this. Our housing director, Kelly, brought in now a probably 30-year-old CDA press article of Savannah as a 5-year-old and her dad and her mom seeking shelter from St. Vincent de Paul. Savannah is in the picture and her dad is holding her in her arm. And what I love about this particular story is that you see that the CDA article was about John and his family seeking housing and the ability to go from homeless to now finding affordable housing and starting their own journey to self-sufficiency. Well, that journey looked like John being hired by our maintenance team as a part of our housing facilities unit, and then working several years, demonstrating by example how blessed he was to not only find housing, but contribute back to community. And as Savannah grew up, she saw her dad work tirelessly to have the opportunity to not only for their family to be housed and taken care of, but the multiple tenants that he served as a part of the maintenance team. He went in, and when he was training a new individual, he would always say the same thing. We go in every time, no judgment. We go into every unit every time with no judgment. Savannah remembers those words being echoed in her mind because her dad knew the value of being seen, recognized, and heard. And what I love about this context is this. When Savannah now is 20, almost I think 23 years old, Kelly invited Savannah in to tell her story. Savannah showed me the article, and Savannah broke into tears because on that day, about a month before, her dad passed away. John had passed away. The meaning of this story is this, is that Savannah wanted to express to me and the organization that she was a living example of breaking the cycle of poverty because her dad taught her the ethic that no matter what, no judgment, and you continue to serve and think about your lived experience with the opportunity of positive growth. That you are not a victim of your circumstance, that you are a opportunity for self-sufficiency. And as Savannah broke into tears in my office, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so good, but so much. She said, you know, I just want people, if I could share the story with the public, what I want everyone to know is this. When you are impacted as a family by poverty, it is not just our lived experience that's important. It's the idea that St. Vincent de Paul employees and staff saw my potential at what I could be at my healthiest. If I were to break the cycle of poverty and not continue it, what would it look like? What aspects of that would I need? And that is something where I want to leave the group with this idea that when we serve the Alice populations, we do incredible work. It is tireless and there's a lot to it. But from St. Vincent de Paul's perspective, we're only successful when we have the opportunity to see every individual who seeks services as subjective and their potential. And that's it, not what they're impacted by. So hopefully I gave you not just a information dump, but an opportunity to learn more about the value of what 80 plus years of ensuring that people are seen, recognized, and heard really looks like in our community. With that being said, I'll open up for questions, but that is the end of my presentation. Yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Does
Yeah.
anybody have anything they'd like to ask or talk about?
Scott, I just wanted to thank you for all that you shared. I do find that story about Savannah really inspiring, and I think it is a really valid point, you know, when you're just thinking of like resiliency, you know, having somebody that sees you and values you and doesn't put your value on the fact that you're whatever living in your car or you're, you know, struggling, but also just kind of gives you a glimpse into steps to get you into a different, you know, situation. And I've done the tour a couple of times, and I think somebody told me, I might get the statistic wrong, but like you guys find housing for like 80% or 86% of people who like do the steps to get there. And that's really huge. And sometimes I think just lining some of those steps out, because, you know, like with the budgeting thing, sometimes people have just never been exposed to some of these things, you know.
Yeah.
And I've often like questioned, like the topic of resiliency has really always fascinated me, and I've often like questioned like why I'm more resilient than maybe the person that was standing next to me. And for me, I feel like it's because I had someone in my life that exposed me to a lot of really positive things, and that kind of goes along with like the positive childhood experiences and whatnot. And so I appreciate you sharing today.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You, Michaela. Anyone else?
I'll
All
just,
right, guys.
oh.
Go ahead.
I
Please.
was gonna say, just thank you to St. Vincent's. I feel like I partner really nicely with St. Vincent's through my program. And what came to mind for me is when you were talking about eye care and how their mission is to really prevent child abuse before it happens by walking alongside the parent and helping them with these skills. I feel like I've seen that firsthand because we have a lot of clients. We share eye care and Center for New Directions, and I've just seen the impact of the relationship Katie and Taryn have with these women, how there's such trust as they walk alongside the mother and help her understand different parenting things, but also things about herself, because what Katie's always said is it starts with the parent, right? So they don't show up to talk about milestones and whatnot. They're talking about the parent and what they're going through and what they're experiencing as well, because it really starts there. And that holistic approach is so appreciated. I just am so thankful for that. And that's something I try to do in my program. And so finding other agencies that are really looking at things holistically and not just narrowing in on one small thing, but seeing the big picture of a family unit, I think is so important. And I've just witnessed firsthand the transformation that takes place when the women are connected with Taryn or Katie and create that relationship. So thank you to St. Vincent's.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody knows this, but iCare's roots and foundation, before they were even involved with St. Vincent's, actually Judge Mitchell was one of the players that was very key to starting the organization, following deaths of like 2 or 3 toddlers in the 90s in Kootenai County. And a group of citizens got together and said, we have to get upstream on this. This is not okay. And that's why I Care was founded. And so its missions really are to teach positive mechanisms for parenting to reduce abuse. And you know, the diapers go along with it, but it's really the classes. And I'm here at night at the help center when these parents come in and go downstairs like twice a week. And they're different when they come up than when they went down. That's all I can say. So it's a very unique program. And Louisa, come get your diapers anytime. All right, you guys, we have 15 minutes. If we'd like to do a quick roundtable, I would open that up. If anybody's got something coming up you want us to help promote or get it on a calendar somewhere, we'd be happy to do that. I'll start because next Saturday is the Housing Resource Fair. If you have not signed up to get a table, please send me an email. I'll put my email address in the chat. And then of course, support will be October 16th. We're still looking for chefs. There's still time if you want to make soup and dress up and decorate your booth and have a lot of fun that day. And there's a whole lot always going on, but I'll just leave it at that. So if anybody would like to, you know, please go ahead for roundtable.
So this is Jackie Stallings from ICBVI, and mine's a little bit off of my organization. We're doing great, same as always, but I just wanted to mention I'm on the board for Specialized Needs Recreation, which is an organization in Coeur d'Alene that serves people with disabilities. We served 5,000 people last year, and we are having our annual gala fundraiser on September 25th. It's called Jeans and Gems at Best Western. It's a really super fun evening. So if you or your company or anybody have any desire to be there, we're almost out of tickets. So I would go to the SNR website, which I can put into this chat, and you could just use a QR code to buy a ticket. And we have a silent auction and an out loud auction, and it's a great evening. So if you're looking for an organization to support, we would love to have you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Anyone else?
We also have an event coming up on Saturday. We will be there celebrating kinship families. We are partnering with Fostering Idaho. And so if families have kinship families want to come, they're welcome to come to that. And there's going to be games and prizes. And last year they had a bouncy house and, you know, fancy drinks, lattes. The kids had a blast, and it was a great turnout. So, you know, if you have kinship families, they're welcome to come to that as a kinship family.
And Christy, when was the date, time, location for that?
So it's in Coeur d'Alene. It's at Canvas Church this year. So basically across the street from where it was last year, and it's from 11 to 1.
What day?
And that the 13th this Saturday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and Navigation will have a table there, and we have giveaways for our kinship families and stuff. So.
Okay. There's the emails and the links promised in the chat. I'll give you a second to write those down. If no one has anything else, Rebecca, I will turn it over to you.
I do. Sorry, I couldn't get off mute.
Oh, go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Oh, there we go. So NAMI has their second annual walk on October 4th at McEwen Park. If anyone is interested, I'll put the information in the chat. It's a fundraiser, free to walk, just an opportunity for the community to come together and see that they're not alone in their, sorry, my dog's barking, not alone in their struggles, either living with someone with a mental health illness or living with a mental health illness. So if anyone would like to attend, that would be great. You can sign up as teams, you can sign up individually. And I have sent a letter out for resource providers if anyone's interested. Part of the whole thing is to have people see that there's help out there to meet those people before they actually need it. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. And if I can figure out how to get to the chat, I'll put it all in there.
Okay, thank you, Jill.
And I just wanted to share, not so much as a part of my role at Early Head Start, but so a little bit about me personally, as my son's on the autism spectrum, and recently there has been some issues with some of his service providers due to the 4% cut in Medicaid. And so I don't really have an ask here, but just some awareness that there are some services out there that pertain to individuals with ASD that are struggling. And earlier this year, his OT office actually closed because they projected these changes coming. And so just something to be aware of as you're working with families, that some of the supports that they're using might be constrained.
That is something that is on everybody's mind right now, I'm sure, in the room and every meeting I go to. So thank you, Michaela, for bringing that up. Okay, last call. All right, let's try this again. Rebecca?
All right, everybody, thank you for coming. Just a reminder, any of those events that we've brought up today, make sure you share them on volunteernorthidaho.org so that other organizations know when you're hosting events and the community can use that as a reliable source to know when events are happening and know that it's consistently updated by the organizations who care. And then on top of that, just a reminder that we are still looking for some projects and volunteers for our Day of Caring on September 25th. If you are interested in either of these things, please get in contact with me and I can connect you with the right person or get you set up online. And with that, I think that we are ready to go. Everybody have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions, just feel free to contact me about any of the things that we just discussed.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for coming. All right, peace.